Shawn, Osborne, and myself both work in the Central Texas Division, for y'all that don't know. Central Texas Division is the baby of Brian Nash. So we wanted to say a few words, really just to honor Brian Nash. Okay. Let me get through this. We figured the best way to honor Brian Nash would be to have a laugh at his expense. So, it's for those of you that know Brian, some of y'all, in the Southeast may not have that much dealings with Brian, but everyone in Texas has at one point or another. And Brian is it's really hard to try to come up with ways to make fun of Brian, but I'm going to try. So I've got 8 to 10 pages.
Let me say we had a great speech written, but since Brian could not proofread this thing for us and fix all the grammar and we're counting.
You're lucky to get through it, guys.
Particularly for those in the Central Texas Division, since Shawn brings up emails, you're asking for it when you copy Brian on an email. Because he's got something to fall back on. He could easily be an English teacher. Because if you fire one off with some grammatical errors in it, you're going to hear about it in less than the time that it would even take you to read that thing. You'll have an email back from Brian correcting all of your mistakes. There's a group of us that have sat in Brian's office for years doing our weekly meetings.
I know where you're going.
It's, you notice certain habits that the guy has after a while. And I'll start off by saying, if you ever need to borrow a pocket knife, do not ask to borrow that multi-tool that you see in his pocket. That is a grooming tool. It's not a multi-tool. It's strictly for grooming. Eyebrows, it's amazing there's any left. Pull up. You pray that he's wearing jeans on the days that you do weekly meetings, because otherwise you're asking for leg hair. You pet the leg hair, pluck the leg hair, but you pet the leg hair. Let me get a cabinet draw date as he clips the fingernails. As he cleans under the fingernails. Maybe that cuticle needed a little work, but give me a paint draw while I work on this cuticle. I'm now in Brian's old office, and let me say that when Brian moved out and I moved in, there was a pile of leg, hair, and eyebrows about this deep behind the desk. That was a $1,500 clean job before I felt comfortable sitting at that desk. Let's see here.
You ever feel like you're in a trap?
Let me tell a few stories here. If you ever have any doubt as to how well Brian Nash is in tune with his staff, I'm going to put that to rest right now. One of the best superintendents we have in Central Texas, a guy named Josh Heiner. We're sitting in our weekly meeting, talking about one project or another, and believe Blake says, yeah, well, you know, Josh says this is going to happen on this date. Brian said, who? so Josh. I said, who the hell's Josh? He said, our superintendent, Josh Kleiner.
Love you, Josh.
You know, I probably wouldn't have told that, but I told Blake spilled beans about that already. So,
Very like a
and you know, it's been talked about, you know, stick-to-itiveness, you know, with MedTech. You hang in there, you put in your time, you'll get your shot. Well, William Birch is a testament to that. Brian Nash interviewed William Birch on a job site. And 5 years later, he got a job. And coming from some of our other employees, Doug Goodspeed, you hear him talk now about the interview process, and we brought him in to interview him. It was me and Brian and Shawn sitting in there, and right off the bat, Doug was like, man, these guys are a little lax. Every one of us, big old dip in our mouths, spitting throughout the entire interview. So we like to make that good first impression. Zach Moffitt came in for an interview. He sat there, did a very impressive throughout the interview, but what really landed Zach Moffitt the job is he walked out the door, out on the breezeway, stopped, happened to be in front of a window where everyone was still looking at, put in a dip. Brian Nash said, there's our man. I'll tell you a story about a doctor that we did a job for a while back. We're actually coming up for round 2 here. But Brian was very involved with this project, heavily involved with the interior designer in particular.
Yeah, old Blue Eyes there. Dr. Tess, I'm sure many of y'all know that one. Turns out that his interior designer took a little shine into Brian Nash there. Still gets talked about quite a bit through Patterson Dental. This interior designer, who happened to be about 6'7", 350 pounds, and had the thickest mustache I've ever seen. And then going back to the cleaning, since we could not use the cleaning solution that Brian happened to spend $150 on for our office, which we still have a big brown spot in there. Brian, would you like to buy some cleaning solution for me? I'll sell it to you for 99 cents today.
Michelle, give him a check.
Get on that.
We don't cut those directly out of the office. You know, as I said, you know, we're trying to have a little fun here. It honestly is very hard to find negative things to say about Brian. We're, you know, lucky to have him in Central Texas for as long as he did run that division. Don't get misty on me. But really, you know, I think Houston, Dallas, you guys are fortunate to now have oversight by Brian. Now, Alan, don't you start laughing either.
I tried to use the word butch.
There's another set.
That's basically it. We try to have a little fun with Brian tonight, but you know, there's no doubt that Brian Nash is the reason that Central Texas division is what it is today. So we still very much appreciate all the help and advice he gives us, and Dallas, Houston, you guys learn all you can from this guy. He's sets a great example and a great leader for us all to follow. That's all.